All right. Welcome back to the show. It's episode 17. We are in week 7 of the ATP season, and my name is Manny Friedman, along with my co-host
Brad Sloan.
All right, back in the house, and it's been rough for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only has your betting been rough, but your on-court performance is still pretty rough.
Although I thought I played way better today.
You did. Your level is picking up. My level picked up a little bit today too to match your
That's
increase.
true.
But
That's true.
yeah, it was.
I'm less disappointed because the quality was higher. But you raised your game, so it was just like it was a good tennis match today.
Yeah, that was the best we played, combined so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my tennis game is going well. I cooked myself a really good stew tonight for dinner, so like, and that came out really well. It was a new stew recipe, so a lot of things off the court are going fine, or off of the betting are going fine. But the main subject of this podcast is tennis betting, and that's not going so well. So I'm not sure how to evaluate my overall life right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping to play good tennis and bet well. Like, why are I thought those two are independent events? They shouldn't have.
So like, too. For me, it's just the opposite. Like,
I mean, obviously, we don't want both to be bad, but why can't both be good? I don't understand.
Well, yeah.
Well,
yeah, as soon as one comes up, the other went down for you, huh? Like it was.
Well, my tennis actually got better. You just played really well.
Your tennis got better, but your betting got worse this week.
I mean, I have a Aperol spritz. That's after midnight. That's the reason.
Yeah, I just finished a couple glasses of wine myself. I didn't bring one with me to the podcast, but I definitely finished a couple after the betting performance of the week was it had to be done.
Yeah, wine was definitely necessary during these matches. So there's a lot more bad than good for me. So let's start with the good. So I know Brad probably has a little bit more good than I do. So
we both, I mean, honestly, so we both hit on our continued trend of fading Zverev and Schwartzman.
Okay.
And I mean, Manny, what do you think about Schwartzman? Are we at the point where now we just blind bet any competent ATP player plus money versus him on any surface?
I am.
Yeah, I think I am too. I mean, has he beaten anybody except Krunic this year? He beat Krunic, I'm not sure how you say the name, but he won the first round of the Aussie Open. Is that his only win this year?
That's his only win. Yeah.
I mean, and today I thought so my initial reaction watching the match was, wow, Bernabe's playing really well. But then I had kind of like a second indigestion feeling that was telling me and it's not as bad as Team, but it's very rare that Schwartzman's being able to be the aggressor. Like I feel like he used to be more of an aggressor off the baseline.
Yeah.
He's just not anymore. Like Bernabe was the aggressor 80%. I mean, it probably wasn't actually 80% of the points, but it felt like 70-80% of the points. Did you watch the match at all, Manny?
I was at work and I was streaming it, and I saw a little bit here and there, but every time
I mean, did you have a similar feeling? My feeling was that Bernabe was the aggressor the vast majority of the time. I mean, it was, and I was texting him like, oh, he's redlining, but maybe not. I mean, if you let guys on the ATP tour be aggressive, like, I don't know.
Schwartzman wasn't doing anything to make progression in the rallies, right?
At all.
So Bernabe could he was kind of comfortable in the rallies, and he could take aggression when he wanted to. Like if Schwartzman was playing really well and kind of putting him under pressure and stuff in the rallies, and Morales did what he did, I'd be impressed. But Schwartzman did none of that.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Who would you take right now between Schwartzman, Team, and Zverev if you had to choose?
Ooh. I'd probably go with Zverev 1, Team 2, Schwartzman 3. That's probably how I would rank those.
I would go Zverev 1. Zverev is actually we've been fading Zverev hard, but it's because I think the books are just over-respecting him. I think he's actually playing like ATP Tour level tennis. It's just that he's playing slightly outside of the top 50 tennis, and you get great lines on every single Zverev match. Like I mean, there's several matches on Zverev I've stayed away from. I don't think he's a blind bet against right now.
I mean, you must have
I
hit this wicked early if you got this at plus 220. I got it at plus 205, and I still thought that was.
was surprised it only went from 220 to 200. I went because I hit it wicked early. I hit it the minute it came out.
Okay. Good
I
move.
saw somebody on Twitter posted that it was out, and I was like, "Bam!" Like I raced. I thought this was gonna crash. I didn't think you were gonna get 220. I thought you were gonna get like
at match time.
50,
I saw plus
120.
170 or plus 180. That's where it ended. That's what
Yeah.
I saw, but plus 220 is a great line.
I saw it sitting at 200 on Bovada like 4 or 5 hours afterwards. Like I was surprised this didn't move more. But I hit it. I hit it like literally within like 5 minutes of it going up. I saw somebody said, "Greek Sport line is up." Boom! I was literally in the middle of playing a tennis match at a changeover. I immediately went and hit the Greek Sport line. That's how obsessed I was. Like, but that was one where I really thought you had to hit it early. I thought it was going to move like 70, 80 points. I thought you had to move it early.
Yeah, I thought it would end at like plus 130, plus 140.
That's what I thought too. When I saw it at 220, I was like, "This is insane! Like I have to hit this right now."
Oh, amazing!
And
Greek Sports had a good year. Like
that's why I was surprised. Like Greek Sports, like more than confident. This was on slow hard, which like isn't his best surface, but isn't the worst for Greek Sport. Like,
well, I mean, let's put it out there. He played Quan. I mean, we bet Quan the match before.
I don't feel bad about that bet.
I don't either. But Quan, he doesn't have as much firepower. He doesn't hit as big, so actually a slower hard court might not be as good because he can't penetrate the court as well. Greek Sport, I mean, he hits big off both wings. So, a slow hard court is actually his preferred surface. That's where plus he has the home court, home crowd. He had a good win the round before against Ymer. So, I mean, plus 220. I mean, that's a great, like, if we can, that was an amazing price. An amazing price.
I mean, 200 is still pretty good, right? Like, you got 205 or something like that. Still is not bad. Like, there's no, I mean, I thought this was a little bit. I mean, that's my point. Like, the books are still giving Zverev respect because if he's like a top, like 30 ATP player, he's just not right now. Like he's way. I mean, he still is an ATP player right now, but he's way. I mean, he's like somewhere in the 50s, 60s. If I was doing like my true live rankings of players, that's probably where I'd put him.
But transitioning back to Schwartzman, like I don't think he's gonna be minus money, or like I don't think he's gonna be a favorite versus.
I can't see how he doesn't look anywhere near competent right now. Like he honestly, he looks lost. Like in every way, he looks lost. Like he actually came out and looked a little bit motivated. Like the couple first, and he didn't win, and he wasn't winning any points, but he like body language wise looked motivated the first couple games against Bernabe, and then like he just kind of looked like done until. I mean, honestly, it could have been worse. Bernabe had an easy overhead at 5-2, 40-30, and he just chunked it.
Yeah, he got tight.
And I think he got tight. Crowd. I mean, the Argentinian crowds are crazy, dude. Like the crowds were cheering every point Schwartzman won. Like I think Bernabe, I don't know if he double faulted at all, but like Bernabe would miss like a short ball, and the crowd would go nuts. Like, for Schwartzman, I mean, they were
but Schwartzman, I mean, he can't hold serve. Like
he also served one time in a match. That's terrible.
That's really bad.
To hold 1 out of 8 is horrendous.
I think I held more times than Schwartzman did tonight.
No, I mean you held 4 times today.
4 times.
You didn't break me the first 2 sets. You held 4 times. It was actually
all right.
You were pretty good on serve. You just couldn't break my serve. You you returned pretty well, but you were.
I got to deuce a lot, but I couldn't convert.
Trying to think of what else.
Schwartzman couldn't even get the deuce. I mean, he was getting destroyed.
Oh, he was getting whooped on his serve. Yeah. I mean, he actually had a lot more success against Bernabe's serve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was bad. In terms of the good, I hit the Dimitrov over 12.5 yesterday. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was just I know you hit Dimitrov money line. I thought this was a little bit of a less risky bet, which is why the odds were a little lower, but I thought
I like it.
Yeah.
Other
than that, my dumbest bet had to be betting Verdasco Albot at all. That was just a dumb idea.
I mean, it was 6-6. I mean, I watched some of that. That was just it.
Well, Verdasco had overhead. He's at the set point, right? Like, so he really could have won the first set.
He could have.
I mean, but it's just it's both those guys are so bad, man. Like,
Yeah.
and like Albot, I don't really get it because he's not that old, right? Like, what's Albot? Like, someone like 30. Like, Verdasco's old. Verdasco would be what, like 37, 38? Like, I get that.
Right.
He's just done. Like, Albot.
I mean, credit to Albot. He came back and beat Vukic today. So, I mean, I bet I bet Vukic. So he's in the
Yeah.
quarterfinals. So credit to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I guess it hasn't been that good of a week for me. I was just a little bit happier because like the past couple of days have been decent. On my single bets, parlays have been terrible because I just haven't like, I'm winning half the time, so I'm not going to hit a whole lot of parlays. But
Right.
I hit FA -4 and Medvedev -5. I thought the Medvedev -5 bet against BDZ was a sneaky smart bet. BDZ is just so off right now, and for Medvedev,
he really is. I'm fading him hard.
And I think Medvedev might be a guy who, like, obviously when you get to slams and the lines are like 9 or 10 games, it gets hard to bet either way on. But like lines of like 4 and 5 aren't that terrible for Medvedev because like he breaks a lot.
Yeah, people just can't deal with his superior movement, right? Like
his defense, like his defense
yeah.
is really good. And most top 20 guys just don't know what. I mean, maybe top 10 guys don't know what to do with that. So
yeah,
he's a guy who, like, again, once he gets to like 9, 10 games at a slam, like I don't know what to do. But if it's like if it's like a single break line and sets, like he gets a fair number of double break sets. So I thought that was a really smart bet. Otherwise, for me, like that kind of sums up the good. There was a lot of bad. I think in terms of the bad, like there's two probably things that I need to do to improve. One is just find more of the stayaways. So the biggest, like Verdasco, Albot, why are we betting that? Like, I know it was Verdasco at plus 120, and I thought it was a coin flip, but like, we probably should just stay away from such shitty matchups. Like, there's probably just no reason. Stuff like Sousa Varias might fall in the same category. I don't know. Like, I thought Sousa would battle better, but like, it's just, but maybe not. I don't know. It's tough because it's only a 1 week sample size, right? And like, I mean, I guess I got to look back at the other weeks.
This Cordoba Buenos Aires has been very, interesting because players who did well last year, or last week in Cordoba, Coria, Baez, what's his name? Adelian.
All lost in the first round.
They all lost in the first round. So I don't know if are they fatigued from it? Are there different conditions? Like, whoa, I don't understand the reason because
I don't think the
these
conditions
guys
have been that different. It's been a little bit cooler in Buenos Aires than it was in Cordoba. I mean, watching the little bit I did of Buenos Aires so far, like, the court hasn't looked that different. It's another South American clay court, so like they kind of play. They all kind of play pretty similar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, part of me wants to chalk up to variance, like, but maybe these guys. We'll have to see with clay specifically because it's such a grinding surface. There may be a little bit more of that. I think that would be interesting to see clay versus like an indoor hard, where like a guy like, where guys are playing shorter rallies. Like these clay rallies are insane.
They are.
And so
Cordoba was a physical tournament.
Well, Buenos Aires has been physical too.
Yeah.
It's been some shorter matches. It hasn't been as insane as like the hot physical long matches of Cordoba, but like the rallies themselves have been physical. It's just that like one player is winning the majority of the rallies in a lot of these matches.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like Coria money line against Acosta, Baez against Live. I mean, those both lost. Like that's I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of those matches are quite even. Like even Diaz Acosta against Nori, like that one 7-6 in the third. Like,
I mean, I'm not that surprised by that one, to be honest. Like 7-6 in the third is always surprising because like there's such a gap in terms of just overall level. But like Diaz Acosta is playing in his own home country. He doesn't get a lot of shots on the ATP tour. She's going to prioritize this. Like, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
But I would have thought Coria, like, and I guess that's what I have to try to like get a little more data on is like, because my opinion, I said this in the last podcast, like if you're Coria or Baez, like this is your time, man.
Yeah,
like it's another week 250 besides Alcaraz.
Absolutely,
you need points. Like you got to gun it. Like give it everything you got. If you like spaz out and can't play on the hard for like 3 months of the US Open series, like that's fine. Like gun it through the clay season and rack up the points you can, and that's basically your season. Because like Coria's not going to win
Right.
I mean, unless he makes significant improvements, he's not going to win a whole lot on hard anyways.
Well, he
I
needs
had
to
the same thing,
stay.
went like what 1-17 or something after
Yeah,
the
and
US
he needs to
after
stay in
the.
the top 60, top 70 to get, direct entry into the slams and Masters 1000s. Like, these are important points. Like, Baez can't afford to lose first round to Lajovic. Like, that's a bad luck.
No, he can't. I mean, he needs to rack up as many points as he can in
Yeah,
these events.
right.
Especially against like another, honestly, like these South American fields are pretty weak. I know
They
Alcaraz is
are.
playing this week, but it still is not a strong field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that's
Yeah.
one thing. And then the second thing is I just need to be much more mindful of conditions, and just not make dumb rookie mistakes. Like today, for instance, I mean, this is kind of embarrassing doing it the podcast on this podcast, but like I kind of forgot that they actually play through like wet conditions on clay.
Well,
Whereas on a hard court, if it starts raining, you almost have to stop it because the court gets too slippery. But
yeah,
on clay, you can play through a little bit of rain.
right.
And the conditions were wet. And
So what I noticed today, for example, like with Cerundolo and Munar. So I was high on Munar. I thought like, Cerundolo, like he came off an injury from Cordoba, like he withdrew. I thought that Munar would make it physical. Like those were all my thoughts going into the match. I mean, it didn't pan out that way, but the thing is, like in these slow, heavy, windy conditions, like with rain and stuff, if you're underpowered, it's really gonna hurt you because like Munar doesn't have any weapons really to penetrate the court. I actually think that was the problem with Schwartzman today. Like he doesn't.
Well, it's
have
also these
shots to
guys. So I
penetrate
think the other
the
thing you
court.
got to think about, Manny, is guys who hit with spin. So like Munar's another spin guy, right? So these
Right.
guys who hit with spin are going to be in real trouble on wet, cold courts because the ball.
Right.
I mean, you've played enough outdoor tennis. Like the ball's not going to bounce. And like
Right.
these guys live on the ball bouncing up. If the ball's not kicking up, it's right in guys' strike zones. It's a little shorter, and these guys just tee off. Like, I mean, even if you look at like Team today, that's what happened to Team, right? Like he hit too many short balls to the middle of the court, and like he made Varias look like Tsitsipas. I mean, he did. Varias was hitting like amazing point after amazing point.
True though. You're exactly right.
looked like Tsitsipas today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And like if you let ATP level guys tee off on balls in their strike zone in the middle of the court, like they're gonna look good.
I mean, what the hell was Team doing? He was basically just lobbing balls in the middle of the court. Like,
well, that's kind of what Team does a lot, but like usually gets him a little bit deeper and like a little more to the corners. And like if he would have done either or, he beats Varias.
Yeah, he does.
Right? If he gets him deep or if he gets him to the corners, he's fine. But like if he lobs balls to the like literally he hit a lot of balls like to the dead middle of the tee, where like they'd be great if they were serves, but these were like backhands and forehands, which is not so good.
I know. He was like lobbing a lot. Like it's just like I don't know what the hell he was doing, but
and again, like Team does some of that where he hits like that super loopy one-handed backhand where it basically looks like a lob. But like if he gets it in the back, or he gets it in the corner, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah,
because like if he gets it, or you're not even in the corner, but to a side, like then the guy's got to make some decisions, right? But like if you put it right in the middle of the court, like the guy gets a free hit at a forehand. Right. He can approach behind it and not feel like super worried about getting past. Like, that's not a way to win points the majority of the time.
No, definitely not. But the 4 matches today: Cerundolo Munar, Cachin Musetti, Schwartzman Zapata, and Team Varias. Like the 4 guys that lost were severely underpowered in these conditions.
I agree with you.
Like Musetti, I know Musetti is dangerous to bet, and like I bet the over with Cachin. I thought it might be a long drawn out match. I actually thought Cachin at plus 220 or something had value. But he's just so underpowered. Like Musetti just has so much more court craft and can hit through that court. Like Cachin can't. Like he has to rely on Musetti errors to win that match.
Yeah, I guess like that's a different one, right? Like I think I put that bet in a different book. Like I don't think I should have done it, but I put that bet. Well, maybe, but I do actually think I should have done. Like I put that bet in a different bucket because that wasn't really a bet on Cachin. Like I even said during the match, like I wasn't betting on Cachin. I was betting on Musetti just not wanting to be there. Like just being like, hey, it's cold, it's wet outside. Like screw this, I'm going home. Like.
We're going to Rio for the 500 next week. Like,
Yeah. He's not going home.
Right.
He's going to the hotel, and then he's gonna. I assume he gets a hotel. He probably has enough money, so
Yeah.
he's going to the hotel, hanging out there for the night, and then getting a flight to Rio the next day. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, sometimes you have to look at just a talent gap, you know? I feel.
Yeah, and maybe, yeah, I know, I agree. And really, like, +2 for a set for Kachin at -135 maybe wasn't the best. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably one. I mean, I probably should have gotten better odds. I probably should have gotten like at least like a -105 or something in order to take that. So that was probably a mistake, but I don't know.
I mean, you brought it up to me, and I was like, I watched some of that Varia's team match, and it was just like crazy wins. Like and Musetti is mentally fragile, so I like.
And again, I was counting on the Argentinian crowd, but like Kachin just couldn't get in the match to get them involved. But, like, I was counting on it being a close, like if it getting like 2-2, 3-3, like that crowd kicking in and really like getting into Musetti's head. Those crowds
just couldn't make any progression in terms of like, in the rallies, right? He just couldn't, like, he doesn't have enough basically power on his shots to
but if Musetti comes out, makes a couple errors the first few games, he gets angry, the crowd gets in his head, like that could go a different way, right? Like Kachin's, you're not betting on Kachin, he's just a guy on the other side of the net, like you're betting on Musetti blowing up.
Right. Yeah. How about Rotterdam? Let's transition back to that there. So like Rotterdam has been rough for me.
Yeah, it's been rough. I mean, I was really surprised that Wawrinka smashed Gasquet. Like, because I mean, Wawrinka he had beaten Bublik, and I think Altmaier were the only guys he had beaten all year. And like Bublik, fine. Like, we know Bublik is Bublik. Like, and Altmaier sucks. Like, I mean, Bublik
might be the worst guy to bet on the entire tour. Right?
I mean, and yet I bet him so much because like the lines always look good. Like, he's honestly the only thing I have had success doing is betting Bublik over 12.5. Like for Bublik, I think he should be like only bet him over 12.5, and that's it.
Okay, but never bet him on the money line.
No, just bet and never bet on the spread. Just bet him over 12.5 in matches.
Yeah,
because he'll like clown around and somehow make a set 7-6. Maybe he'll lose the match in 3, but win a set. Like,
you could bet over on aces and doubles, right? Those are good bets for him.
Yeah,
like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I tailed you on that. I just thought Bublik, is just kind of like better, and he would kind of disrupt rhythm, right? Wawrinka likes rhythm, right? So I thought. I liked it at plus money, but it just wasn't to be. And I have to say, against Gasquet, Wawrinka was impressive. I don't know if you saw any of that match. He was bombing.
I didn't, but maybe the matchup would make more sense there that Wawrinka, because like Gasquet doesn't really have a whole lot of power either.
Head-to-head.
What?
Gasquet has a favorable head-to-head against them.
Yeah, so I guess not, and that's actually why I bet Gasquet. So I was like, okay, I see a good head. Like, I was surprised by it. But I was like, okay, I see a good head-to-head. Maybe there's something there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I guess Gasquet had a good comeback against RBA the round before, which I bet. That was actually one of my good bets of the week.
Yeah, Busta went Busta, but yeah.
No, it was RBA.
Against Gasquet?
No. Oh yeah, it was Busta.
Yeah, it was Busta. Yeah, it was down 2. I mean, Gasquet went 6, down 6-2-4-1, and Busta went Busta.
Right. Yep. Busta went Busta. Yeah, no, that's true. What else in another bad bet that I had in Rotterdam was Sonego against FAA. So, I was all about, FAA starting tournaments slow. I thought 3.5 was good. I thought Sonego actually had a chance to win outright. He likes indoor hard courts. He's kind of like, he plays aggressively with charisma and stuff. And I thought that was a good play. But FAA came out firing. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I just laid off that entirely. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I had no. FA's defending champ here. And
Yeah, sometimes when you come back to a place where you had success, you play well.
well, I also wonder, like, maybe indoor hard courts are really actually good for FAA because, like, he has a good serve. He's, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think having more time helps him? I think maybe it does. Like, he's got a little bit of a long swing.
Mm-hmm. He's not bad
So
on
maybe,
clay. He's not terrible on clay.
yeah. Um, so I think maybe he's a guy who, like, he's actually probably as close as you can get to a true all-quarter.
Yeah, I mean, he struggled in Australia, but Australia is probably the closest slam there is to an indoor hard court. You know, even though they play outdoors, like those courts are kind of uh, shielded from the wind, right? Because they're kind of enclosed, right? I don't think
Yeah.
wind is a big factor there, and he struggled with his game. So I don't know. I mean, Sonigo, okay, let's put it out there. He didn't play a good match. He was quite erratic. You know, he's a little bit too amped up sometimes, you know, and I think that hurts him. But yeah, it just, I mean, it was frustrating because I had quite a bit on that match. Just kind of fading FAA leading into a tournament, and he usually starts slow. But
Yeah, I hear you. And we've had this discussion about FAA before, right? How he struggles versus
yeah,
guys who he should beat. So
right.
yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah. What else did I have pain wise in Rotterdam?
Rune failed in the 4.5 versus Leshen, right? Didn't Leshen got
it
4 and
is
4?
it was four and
He
four.
covered.
That sucked.
That's
Yeah,
painful.
that was painful. Yeah, I mean, Rusevori plus 4.5 against Tsitsipas was actually quite painful because Rusevori, I think, served for the first set at 5-4, and then he ended up losing 8 of the last 9 games or something like that to lose 5-1.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It just
Brutal.
sucks, you know, like uh
Hoffman money line for Cerundolo is pretty brutal. I'm surprised you only got that at plus 130. That feels like a weird line. I guess you really didn't get very much. You didn't really get very much of a benefit for playing against an
I
injured
did
Cerundolo.
not. I did not. I don't regret this bet at all. It's probably one of the bets I actually regret the least of the ones I lost. Uh I don't know. I was fading Cerundolo because like he injured in
Yeah,
Fukuoka?
yeah, he retired against Korea.
Exactly. So it's like you're playing the next week, and then like all of a sudden you can play a physical 3-setter, and it doesn't really make sense to me, you know? Like,
I just played the avoid here entirely because I was like, I think I even told you, I texted you this. I mean, like, this is like, it was just so weird. Like,
yeah.
he's hurt, but he can't be that hurt if he decides to come to play a 250 the week before a 500.
Mhm.
Like, right? Like, if he was still hurt, he probably wouldn't do that. And like, he's got enough points where he can afford to take a week off if he needs to. He's only going to get. I mean, he's going to qualify for all the Masters. He did well in Indy One's Miami, so he's going to qualify for most of this year. So like, he's only going to get like he's not going to like he's only going to get to count. You only get to count like 6 tournaments for points. Like, unless he makes a deep run, it's probably not even going to count. Like, so I didn't
Yeah.
really like. I felt like he probably wasn't injured. Yeah. And he definitely showed it today against Munar, huh? Like Munar's got to get like the go to the of the week award. Like that was just for a guy who I don't really understand why, that was awful.
It was. It's terrible. I didn't see much of it. Did you see some of it?
It's like 5 minutes. It was
5 minutes
terrible.
of it. Just
Yeah.
terrible.
Honestly, with what I was watching a little bit more of Sinner Tsitsipas. I thought that was like, but Tsitsipas laid an egg also. Like he was really. It's been weird. A lot of guys have laid eggs that I was
Yeah.
surprised by this week.
Well, I want to discuss Sinner kind of on the side a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm curious your thoughts. But how about Molchan team? Like that was one of our bigger plays yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a
Tigers.
great. I was stunned to see
I know.
Molchan as a dog here. I don't know, man. Like,
Is that
it's
I was in New York, so I didn't see much of it. I saw a little bit of it.
I didn't see much video. I mean, I was in the offside, too many meetings and stuff. I was working. I didn't see
Okay.
much. I didn't see any
Yeah.
highlights either. I mean, I
I
don't
don't
know,
know if
man.
this is
Like,
is this a thing? Like, do we fade Molchan in
I
Rio
don't think so.
next week?
I think like team was like 9-11 or something last year on clay. Like he still is like kind of competent on clay. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not gonna lose every match. So he's gonna pop up once in a while and have these big wins. He did it last year too. He had a couple of really nice wins on clay. So he's gonna pop up and play these like good matches occasionally on clay. And like I don't think you can get too like it's probably like 30% of the time he's gonna play a good match on clay. And you just have to like accept that like, there's not too many guys who you're gonna be able to like get plus money on. The opponent's gonna like play terrible every match, right? Like,
But like to me, I view Molchan as a better clay court player than Varias. They're both natural clay
yeah,
court.
my point is, I think team has
Molchan is a
probably had a
better
good day,
player.
or Molchan just had a bad day, right? Like this is gonna happen. Like I think this is probably more variance. I'm not like with team. I'm
Okay.
not as worried about it. I think that again, like he's team like randomly played a couple of good clay court matches last year. Like I think he's gonna randomly
Yeah,
like pop up and play good, and then the next day he's gonna play bad. The thing I'd love to see with team actually, now that we're talking team because we got derailed onto it again,
yeah.
is what does he play like? I'll only do some research into this, but what does he play like on the second day of a back to back? Or the second, third match of a tournament after he has to play without a rest. That is something that I'm going to look at because that might be an opportunity to fade team in that way and not fade him in first rounders, but fade him in later rounds.
Interesting. Yeah, and he was a pretty sizable favorite against Farias, and he came out wicked flat.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You make a good point because he's a player that relies so much on physicality, right? Like he doesn't really have.
Right, we've seen this with players nearing the end of their career where, like, if you ask them to get it up for one match, they can get it up. But like getting like part of what makes you a player on the ATP tour is getting it up over and over and over and over and over again, right? Or getting it up back to back matches week after week after week, right? And like that gets a lot harder to do when you're older. The recovery.
It's true with his injury.
Or just beat up physically, right? Team isn't even that old, but I think there's probably more miles on that body than a lot of other guys who are even maybe a year or two older than him. Just with like his training and his old and his play schedule back in his prime.
That's a very good point. I think I'm gonna put team in that category. Not fade him in the first match, but if it's a back to back, then definitely fade him. Yeah. And I don't think this was even a back to back. He had a day off, right? He had
which is weird. So maybe it doesn't apply here. Maybe he just played a bad. I mean, it could be the conditions.
No, did he? Yeah, no, he had the day off.
Yeah.
He played evening and then he had the day off and then played morning. So, yeah, I mean, it's. Yeah.
I'm glad we both hit on, I guess anything else from Buenos Aires? Because I think we covered Rotterdam pretty recently.
We got to talk about Norrie and Alcaraz.
Yeah, we do. Alcaraz dropped a set to Jiri, right?
He lost a set to Jiri. Looked fine physically.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about that. I'm actually not surprised that Alcaraz would have struggled. I mean, he was a long way off, right? Like, I thought there was a clear.
I bet over 20 and a half games here, minus 150. I was thinking about doing 21, but it was like, you know what? I'll just play it a little bit more conservatively, and it hit easily. No, I mean, it's his first match, right? So I'm not worried either. I think he's fine. I do think it's going to be hard for him to find the same form that he had last year, like going into Indian Wells and Miami. Like he was playing at such a high level.
But he's got some time, right? He's got Rio, he's got Acapulco. Like he'll have, assuming he plays a couple of tournaments, like he'll have a few tournaments to play his way into it. I don't know if he will or not. Like you're probably right just because his form was so high, but like I think he's still going to play like a top 5 to top 10 player in the world. I don't think it's going to be like a huge drop off.
Okay, so you're not. I'm not fading him by any stretch of the imagination.
He's a really hard guy to bet too. He's a really hard guy to bet. See, like he's really mentally tough,
He is.
but his physical performance goes up and down, even like set to set.
I've noticed last year he never he struggled starting matches, right? It took him some time to get a rhythm. So it might be good to bet him to lose the first set or bet an over, for example.
Yeah, or even bet the first set spread on an underdog. So usually they just like take the game spread and just cut it in half for the first set. So like a lot of like weaker guys might be able to get it like +2, +3 for the first set, and maybe you take that +2, 2.5, +3. But taking it at +2 kind of sucks for a set because like he's got to get to 7-6 to win.
Yeah. I mean, see, the books give him such tremendous respect for good reason. I wish you got a little bit more value if live betting him, because he's a guy that if he lost the first
but you don't. The thing is, you get no value live.
You get no value on it. Like the books just give him so much respect. I mean, he's so freaking good. You know, he's the guy was made to play tennis. Like, let's be honest. I mean, he's to be 19 and doing what he's doing. It's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm on the record saying, like, at 19, he's playing at a higher level than Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic did at that age. Would you agree with that?
Nadal is close. I mean, remember Nadal?
Nadal's close. Nadal's close.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Nadal make like Wimbledon final at 19 or 18? Or I know he made semis of Roland Garros at like 17 or 18. When did he make his first Wimbledon final? Was that like?
That was 2006. So he was 19.
Yeah, so it's close between him and Nadal, but yeah,
I just think overall game, like you know, his lack of weaknesses, right? Like hitting big on both wings, being a multi-surface player, like
he's really well rounded. I'll give you that. He's about as well rounded for a guy who's in his late teens as anybody we've seen. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And it's really mentally tough too. I mean, it's really, his mentality is really impressive.
Mm-hmm. I think he needs to improve a little bit, like in discipline, for example. Like I think he goes too big and is a little bit too amped up in certain situations.
Yeah, and the serve accuracy needs to improve,
serve
right?
Accuracy, right. Yeah. Yeah. But
and he also double faults. At least when I've seen him, he double faults a surprising amount. So there's probably something to work on there too with the second serve. So there's definitely still some holes, but I mean, for 19, like he's pretty damn good.
Yeah. And his athleticism is off the charts. I mean, the speed around the court is
I mean, it's pretty damn good. I don't know if it's as good as Nadal's. Like, I mean, seeing some of the shots that Nadal hit in his late teens, early 20s might have been more like some of the banana shots stuff might have been more ridiculous, but it's not bad. I wouldn't, you know, if you were a prospect, you wouldn't be sad if he became Alcaraz by 19.
No, definitely not. I'm not fading him by any stretch. I might continue to play overs. Obviously, we're going to get into all the quarterfinal matches, but I think overs is probably the way to go, playing Alcaraz. But yeah, how about Norrie? I mean, for me, like, why is Norrie playing this tournament? You know, he won Delray Beach, so he had last year, so he had 250 points. Like, you know, like why you should play that, because the draw is so freaking weak in Delray Beach, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wouldn't go to Delray Beach. I guess the only thought is you'd rather play Rio next week. So if you're gonna play this is a warm-up for Rio, but yeah, I think it's a weird move. I mean, the only other thing I can think is, like, I don't think you really see appearance fees disclosed all that often, but maybe there's an appearance fee in here, because like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
If he lost to Diaz Acosta, which he easily could have, like,
he was down 4-1 in the third set tiebreak. I was really disappointed in this because I have a futures on an unseeded player to make the final, and if Norrie would have gone out, I would have felt way better about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised that Norrie would play this as well. Like I said, I think the answer is probably he wants to play Rio next week, because next week's tournaments are Rio, Doha, and Marseille.
Right.
So
I think a lot of guys are playing, actually, surprisingly.
I think Doha plays out. I think Doha's prize money is really good, and I think they also pay out massive appearance fees. Okay. Yeah. Like, I think Doha basically I mean, it's in Qatar, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm pretty sure Doha is known for paying out like massive amounts. Yeah. Marseille, like if you're in Europe already, why not play it, right? Speaking of which, it's crazy how many like tournaments France gets. Like I never realized before that France gets like 8 tournaments. It's insane.
They do.
I mean, we're Americans, and like America gets the most of anybody by far. Like I think each state, I'm surprised like there's not like the Wyoming Open in like Cheyenne or something in the mountains, but yeah, like I mean, but France gets a lot of tournaments.
They do. They do.
But then Rio's the only 500 next week. So my point is like, I guess if you're going to stay and play the American swing, you'd probably want to warm up for Rio by playing something that's clay instead of something that's hard, right?
Nori is not that great on clay, you know. Like, I mean, I know he played Davis Cup on clay, so maybe he's trying to build some confidence for the clay season. I don't know, like kind of build his game there. But I mean, no match for Nori is going to be easy against all these guys that grow up on it, you know, like or play all the time.
And grind. I mean, these dirt balls are awesome. And these guys they're all the same. They're all the same play style. They all just grind. No serve. Like, don't care about serve. Just let's come out and grind.
Get the ball in play and just start grinding. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So awesome point construction. Like the point construction these guys is amazing. The angles, like it's just like it's so fun.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. No, definitely. What else is there? Delray Beach, and we haven't really hit on that. So Chapo, I mean, losing to Michael Moe, I mean, he's obviously a guy we're going to continue to fade.
Well, I want to fade Chapo, but like every time there's 2 problems. A, like he seems to always get good draws, which makes it hard to fade him because you end up with some guy like Emo against him. Like, I don't trust that Emo can beat Chapo. Maybe I should, but I don't. Like Emo's not like. Why would Emo
Emo is actually a bad matchup for Chapo because Emo is all defense, right? So he's going to.
I think Emo is probably the wrong example, but like these guys who just are not nearly as good, right? Like it's hard to bet these guys against him.
So to me, Chapo is the exact opposite of Team, for example. We were discussing Team, right? So to me, Chapo is a guy that you fade in the first match. And if he gets through and gets some confidence, then you might not want to fade him. But in the first match, you want to fade him. That's how I look at him.
Yeah, I mean, I got to look at the data on that. I mean, I honestly haven't looked at that. I think it's an interesting play. I'll definitely look into it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he's just all over the place, man. Like he's just, and maybe the answer is maybe he's one of my new like over 12.5 players too, because like I feel like every match with him he gets that over 12.5 because he's so erratic. Like it's not going to go smooth,
right? But if he's like hitting the ball well, like he can blow someone off the court, right? So,
but he can't seem to do it for a match.
Yeah, he can't sustain.
He can do it for a half hour, and then all of a sudden the errors sneak in and like. Then it's a problem. So his match is going to be so rickety. Like maybe the over 12.5 is the play. Because like I think if I had to trust Chapo on a line right now, it would be to trust him to go over 12.5. Because like do you trust him to win matches? No. Do I trust him to lose matches? No.
I trust him to lose more often than win right now. I mean, he's not doing good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see you bet the second set of your own to beat the real estate agent.
I did plus 1,800. I thought the second.
I can't believe that guy beat Sock, man. Like, how bad is that for Sock?
No, that's really bad.
But I guess if you're Sock, why do you care?
What was Pekatic's odds against Sock? I think it was like plus 850 or something like that.
Yeah, but I guess if you're Pekatic, why do you care? Or not Sock? Why do you care? Like. It's an embarrassment, and you should care because it's an embarrassment to lose to a guy who's not a full-time tennis player and has a full-time. I mean, the guy literally he didn't think he was going to win. He practiced 2 to 3 patterns to try to beat Sock, which again against Sock probably works, but yeah. But and then I don't know if you saw his boss was in the box. Like he had his boss in the players box.
I mean, I can tell you, his team. Sock is not doing much to. Get on the Laver Cup squad this year.
No, but he'll still get on. He can sleep the first 6 months of the season. He can lose every match, play 2 decent matches in the U.S. Open series, maybe win a round of the U.S. Open, and make Laver Cup.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're Sock, like, and if you're Sock, like, what are points worth for you? Like, unless you're really going to commit and try to be like a top 50 player, like, why do points really matter? Like, you need
Yeah.
material things. You need money, gold, women, land. Like, you don't need points. Like, what are points? Like,
Yeah,
you
what
can't
are
even, like,
points
when you
exactly?
go to your grave, what do you trade your ATP points in for? They go away after 52 weeks
And
anyways.
he's like in American tennis, he's probably like the third biggest star. It's crazy. Like
Well, who are the biggest stars around American tennis? Isner's the number one star. I would vote Isner's the number one star.
Okay, I guess. I mean,
In terms of most recognizable face, I think it's Isner.
Tiafo probably.
Isner, Tiafoe, and Fritz are the top three.
Okay. And then probably Sock is more than like Giron or Shelton or yeah. I mean,
Shelton would be close, but like, who else is like a star? Like, not Giron, not
yeah,
Nakashima, not Mackie. Like,
right. Yeah. But I would, in terms of tennis game, I would put all three of those guys above Sock.
are way better. Yeah. It's just
They're
it's
100% better.
yeah.
Yeah. So how about Medvedev? I mean, we haven't discussed too much of him. Is he so I watched that match against Davidovich Fokina, and I
So
bet
before you go there, I want to talk a little about Yoshi. Are you worried about Yoshi at all?
Yoshi?
After, because this was a bad tournament for
bit.
him.
It
Also,
was.
he got bageled by Oat, right? And then he lost to McDonald, who's a guy
He's beaten
straight
twice this year, right? So
yeah.
that was that's what led us to bet him. I mean, I didn't see too much of this match. I saw the ending. Nishioka kind of he peaks in and out mentally in matches kind of a lot. Like
he does. I remember losing a set 6-0 to Oat. That's really weird.
Yeah, he's been losing a lot of 6-0 sets. He lost 2 6-0 sets to Kachanov.
But that's what I understand, right? Kachanov's at least is a good, like, you could lose a set 6-0 to Kachanov. Like, it would make sense how that could happen, especially to Yoshi's a little underpowered.
Yeah,
like,
someone in the top 40 should not be getting bageled. I don't know. And
I agree.
He's getting bageled
but I can see how that would happen because he's top 40 because he is like most of the time when he wants to be, he's a fighter and like,
yeah.
But he's like a high spin guy. He's one of the top spin guys on the tour. Like he's a guy who's like, he's not going to hit through you. So like, I can see how if a guy's redlining, like, and Kachanov played really well that match when he double bageled him. Like, yeah. I get that. I don't get how you lose a set 6-0 to Oscar Oat. Like, the guy's got no return game.
I have to say I'm leaning towards fading him. I don't like what he's done post Australian Open.
Was the Australian Open really good either? I mean, he struggled against Mackie until Mackie got hurt, right? Like he kind of got.
I think regardless of how well or bad, how you're playing, making a fourth round is a good result. Plus he did well in Adelaide 1. Like he had a good Australian Open swing. Like I'm not going to deny that.
We'll give a little clap for Yoshi. I agree. Sorry, Yoshi. Yoshi's one of my favorite guys for a lot of reasons. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like just jump over any Yoshi spread right now. Like I don't like the obviously the 6-0 set. I don't like this loss to McDonald. Like when you beat him pretty easily the last 2 times and then you come out and lose to him. Like it's not like when he beat McDonald, like he beat him pretty handily. Right? So it shows that his level has regressed significantly. Since Australia. So I don't know, I might fade him a little bit. That's how I'm leading with him.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, Medvedev. So I saw that match against Davidovich Fokina. I thought that was a perfect match for Medvedev to kind of get this tournament started. Like Fokina is kind of erratic. Medvedev has obviously way better tolerance. When he, kind of found his game, it was like smooth sailing for him. But like, I feel like we discussed this before, but people are kind of adjusting to his strategy, right? Like they're serving in volley when he's standing way back, right? So that they kind of know that he's kind of play kind of defensive points and kind of look for an opening, right? But like I feel like players are adjusting to him, and
Yeah, I mean, he's so extreme and so unorthodox that I think he's probably somebody that, like, as a coach, you can try to think of ways to beat him versus like Rublev's going to be the opposite of that, right? I mean, like, I guess not Rublev's the wrong example. Like, I don't know, like some guy who's like just a general, like FAA, like unless he's playing bad, like as a coach, like what is your strategy to beat FAA? Like just go out and play better tennis, right? Like what else could you tell a guy? Like,
right,
like there's not a place to go attack.
yeah. I mean, I'm very curious to, like I can't wait to discuss the FAA Medvedev quarterfinal in Rotterdam.
Oh, that's popcorn tennis.
That's
that is the one quarter that's really exciting in Rotterdam this week.
I can't wait. So we'll get into that. Who else did we want to discuss here? I think so. The last guy I wanted to discuss before we get into the quarters is
Sinner.
Right. So now, do you think Sinner is kind of turning the corner? Like, do you think now, with this win versus Tsitsipas, is he going to be able to kind of turn around his poor top 10 record?
He's getting there.
You think he's getting there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, look, he took 2 sets, and granted, it didn't really ever look like Djokovic was in trouble, but he did have 2 sets down on Djokovic last year at Wimbledon. He took Sinner to 5 in the Australian this year, so like, and that's
Tsitsipas
to 5.
Alcaraz to 5 at the U.S. Open.
And U.S. Open, so like,
beat
maybe
Alcaraz
there's
and
signs.
Yeah,
I think I think there's signs, and this is like this is better probably than where we've been. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if he does turn that corner, he's a top 5 player because he crushes the bottom 50 already. If he can just win like half his match against the top 10, he's top 5 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with the run in Montpellier and then backing it up this week. And
I wasn't so impressed with Montpellier because like Montpellier, like that's that tournament. Once Rune lost to Cressy, that was made for Sinner. I mean, think about it. Sinner didn't have to play until Friday. Like, let's get a little let's kind of calm down at the Montpellier win because like
good point.
Yeah, he won 3 matches against guys who are outside the top 40. I think
but I'm just saying backing it up here. Bonzi doesn't impress me, obviously, but the Tsitsipas win does. That's a 4-3 beatdown.
And he was a beatdown. He actually broke Tsitsipas twice in the second set. I don't think he faced break point the whole match. Like, that was a beat. I watched part. I mean, Tsitsipas didn't play well, but Sinner was like more consistent than usual. Like Sinner was good.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do anything stupid. Like, I mean, it's ABC tennis, but he was good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know.
I probably need a little bit more prove it before I'm gonna start betting on him against top 10s. But like, I'm probably gonna start not fading him as hard as I was against top 10, top 15 guys before this. He's probably moving. He's moving from that fade category to that like analyze category.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think of the guys ranked between 10 and 20, has by far the most upside out of anyone in that group. I don't think
who else is in that group,
right?
And I mean, I think you have to say that regardless. Like, he's got top 5 upside, right?
He does. Yeah, I mean, in that group, you got I guess Medvedev. Okay. Hurkacz, Medvedev, Nori, Kachanov, Tiafoe, Carreno Busta, Zverev, Paul, Kyrgios, Musetti. Those are the between 10 and 20 right now. So
yes, and it's obviously Sinner, right? I mean, just look at the ages, right? Like, he's the only one who's, he's 21, and the other guys are all in their mid-20s. So, and I guess that's the thing, right? Like, we've been complaining a lot about Sinner on this podcast, but like, the dude's 21. Like, maybe we should cut this guy a break. Like, he's still pretty young and he's still allowed to develop, right? Like,
I know. I mean, do you with Tsitsipas, like, he didn't play well in Davis Cup. against World Group 3 competition. Didn't look good in the first set against Rusevori, but just, he's just so much better than Rusevori. Didn't look good against
I don't know. Like,
This is the guy you're fading going forward?
No, because like here's the thing. The other thing I gotta look at too. So with these like top 5, top 10 guys, like, right, like they play for slams and they sort of play for masters, right? But like basically they do well in masters and slams. Like, does Tsitsipas do well in 500s and 250s? Especially at this time of the year when like they're I mean, when is Indian Wells? Indian Wells in a few weeks, right? It's like 2 to 3 weeks.
All right, yeah.
So like, is this tournament just kind of a semi warm up for Indian Wells? I know there's a few tournaments in between, but like,
I don't know if they consider it like that. I mean, Tsitsipas made the final here last year.
He's coming off a long way off though. Like, I'm gonna give Tsitsipas a pass for this one.
Okay.
And it's not like losing to Sinner's terrible.
No, it's not a bad loss. It's a
top 15 guy who's playing well.
Top second round match in the 500. Like, doesn't get tough.
Right? Isn't that ridiculous? That like he had to play
crazy.
Sinner in his second round of 500. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I'm not fading Tsitsipas yet. I want to see more. I'm curious to see.
Sinner, what was that? Was that a 4th round with the Australian? Or was that like a quarter?
That was a 4th round.
Fourth round, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, he's seated pretty low. Like, he's obviously going to improve his seating, but
yeah.
And Holger Rune, man, I mean, that was like, what the hell was that? Like, I don't think he was even injured. He was just pissed that he was down and just like pulled the plug. Like what is that?
Yeah.
Like, I know we had this.
I mean, there's still some maturity issues there, right? He's only 19. There's still some maturity issues
big
there.
Maturity issues. They're not small maturity issues because his game is pretty complete. His game is really good.
Game is really
just like, he's super talented, hits big on both wings, like incredible athlete, like, but maturity is just like, yeah, definitely. So, all right, let's get into the quarterfinal matches. I mean, hoping for some better luck. Like, I feel like we've kind of had good rationales behind betting, like the guys that we've been betting. It just hasn't really panned out like that. That's kind of, I feel, right? Like, obviously we have to take conditions more into account. But like this, and we take the spot into account, but like it just really hasn't fallen our way. Like,
yeah, it feels like that.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. So,
all right. So where do we want to start for some quarters analysis? We start Rotterdam. That's the biggest tournament.
Let's start low and increase. So we're going to start with Delray Beach.
All right. So we're going to start low and start with the top ranked player who's playing this week. That makes a lot of sense, Manny.
The top ranked.
Oh, no. Sorry. I thought we were starting with Buenos Aires. We can start with Delray Beach.
No, we're going to start with,
No, let's start Delray Beach.
Delray Beach. Okay, so we got Marcos Giron and Miomir Kecmanovic. We got Radu Alba, Tommy Paul, Michael Moe, and Mackenzie McDonald, and Taylor Fritz and Adrian Manarino. Actually, quite interesting matches here.
So Jeroen Kecmanovic is, I saw this line before. It's pretty, like, when I saw it earlier, it was pretty close to a pick'em. Okay. I'm not sure if it stayed there.
I have not seen any of these lines, so it's a pick'em. Interesting.
It was close when I saw it.
Yeah, it's pretty much a pick'em here.
Yeah. This is where I saw it earlier this morning. Honestly, I think pick'em's the right line here. Like, Kecmanovic looked like, I mean, 3-5 over Nuno Borges isn't like great, but it's like, it's not horrendous. Like, it's okay.
I have a clear lean here. I'm 100% on Giron.
I will hit Giron, but it's not a clear lean to me. Like, I was hoping to get this at plus money. I think, like,
Giron played well last week against who did he play? Was it Fritz? Yeah, he lost to Fritz.
Yeah, he won a set. Yeah.
Won a set.
I mean, Jerome's got to win like 48% of the time, I think, or 52% of the time for.
But Kekmanovic is not in good form right now. A win versus Borges.
No, but these are much slower hard courts than anything in Australia, right? So like, and Kecmanovic plays better on the slower courts. So that's why I'm a little concerned going too crazy on the out of form with Kecmanovic. But I'm gonna hit your own here, but I'm a little more worried about it.
I think the over is crazy. I'm tempted to hit the under here at 23.
You think Jerome's that much better? I don't think Jerome's that much better. I think this is 23 because it's such an even match. So like, there's a pretty good chance this goes 3 sets.
I just think for two guys that don't serve that big, like that's a pretty high under, or like a pretty high total.
I think it's because of the chances it goes 3 sets. Like if you look at the 3 set line, I bet you it's only plus 125, if that even.
Plus 125, exactly. Which is a pretty low 3 set line. I agree. I kind of like this. Do you run 2 sets to love at plus 225? I think I don't trust Kekmanovic's form right now. He's a guy I'm kind of fading.
I understand that. It's just that you're looking at that's all fast hardcore stuff you're looking at. If you're looking at anything post US Open.
Lost to Gomez and Dallas. Dallas's was quicker, right?
That was a quick indoor hard court though, right?
Quick indoor hard, yeah. Lost to Kokonakis.
Quick indoor hard in Adelaide. That doesn't mean.
Okay.
Jari was a terrible loss. That's inexcusable anywhere. Like that just shouldn't happen.
Terrible, right? In straight sets.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. He got embarrassed by Jari.
Really bad loss. Yeah, exactly. Medvedev love in 3.
Yeah, I think your own's the play here. I don't think it's as clear as you do. I think I don't know. I think the right line for this match would be like if I was the book setting this match, I would have set this. I would have put like Kecmanovic even money and put your own at like minus 120 or minus 125.
I mean, Giron is a slight dog in this match.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's the hit at that minus 105. He's only got to win 52% of the time. I think he wins like 55, 50, something between 55 and 60% of the time. Right. So I think he runs the hit here. He's also, it's a home country match for him.
Yeah. I don't expect the crowd to play that much of a factor at 1 o'clock in Delray Beach, but
yeah, again, it's not so much crowd. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Being accustomed to the country, yada yada.
I think Giron is the hit here. Just a Giron money line. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, what else are you gonna hit? There's nothing else here to hit, right? Like all the other lines are so terrible. Like I mean, if you wanted to give yourself I don't know. I don't really like the Giron at minus over 12.5 either, because like I think to me this is just straight Giron money line, and that's it.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, let's move on to the next match.
I just don't think it's as clear. Like, I mean, I could see Kecmanovic winning that. I also have a 25-1 futures on Giron. So I'm rooting for Giron regardless. Like, and I really like that futures right now. Like, I think that I think at 25-1 it's amazing.
Because he would play either Radu Alba and Tommy Paul. I mean, Tommy Paul would be a tough semi.
Yeah, but it's winnable. I mean, for your own, or for a guy at 25-1, right? Like, it could be worse. And then the only guy in the top half who was even like halfway confident is Fritz. Otherwise, you got Mo.
Fritz has been struggling. Like, he hasn't.
No, I mean, I'm sure he could. Well, I guess Manarino. Actually, the top half isn't that terrible. Like, Mackey and Manarino are like not horrendous for unseeded players. I actually think Manarino could beat Fritz. I'm really interested to see what that line looks like. I see it hasn't come out yet. But I don't know if it's somewhere else. If you want to look at like bet, I think you have like WinBet or something. It might be up there.
Yeah. Well, let's go in order. So Radu Alba, Tommy Paul. So,
Albot's so bad.
he is bad.
Who did he beat to get here?
He beat
Vukic and
Vukic and Verdasco.
but he's done well here before, right? Albot hasn't he made a final or won this event in the past? There's some history here with Albot at Delray Beach. Like
You think he won the title? I don't know.
or at least made a final or something. Like I think
He's won one title. And
the first
Delray
Delray
Beach.
Beach. There you go. He beat Dan
Wow.
Evans.
7-6 in the third. Huh. That's good trivia right there. Oh, that's good.
I get like 1 out of every 20, and it's always the random 250 trivia. Like, you know what happened to slams? I know what happened like to Estrella Burgos and Quito.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, this is really good.
yeah.
Really good. Yeah. Okay. So this is one title.
I mean, it's 4 years ago, right? That's ancient history.
I don't really think that matters against Tommy.
No, I don't think it does either. I think it's basically irrelevant.
That's 5 games. That's a lot.
I know the spread is so big. How did Paul do in his first match? I know he killed somebody, but who did he kill? Tommy Paul, the man with 2 first names.
Yep. Ricky Bobby.
Yep. Oh, he beat Kudla pretty good. Yeah. Like you look at it, you're like, oh man, 5 games is a lot of games, but like then you're like, Albot.
I know.
Like Verdasco was breaking him all over the place.
every Albot service game is going to be an adventure, right?
Yeah, and like I don't know, like this is when I'm gonna have to research. I'm gonna have to see how Paul does with these big spreads. But
not great. Like he played Sultanov in 1-6.
That's weird though. That's Davis Cup in Uzbekistan. Like that. I'm more okay with that. I more want to see like, I mean O'Connell 4-5, but that's in Australia, so it's a little more like acceptable-ish. Look how much you saw with Leo Borg though. That's not good. Granted, Leo Borg was at home, but Borg's kid. Borg's kid getting in the hell of a battle.
Leo Borg in Stockholm. I mean, yeah, Alvarez Verona on hard. It's 3-6. I bet that was like a 5-game spread. Like,
yeah. Granted, as a Spaniard, I mean, I'm gonna have to look a little more into this. But this is never Albot. Like, I don't trust Albot to do anything. I don't trust Albot to show up to the match. Like,
yeah, I wish it was like 4 or 4.5 and I'd play it. 5 is a lot. I think I'm staying away here. I think I'm going to be a little bit more disciplined.
Yeah, do you like the under at 20.5? That's a pretty small under.
Yeah. I mean, have these guys played?
You got 2 matches for Paul.
Yeah, 2020 was the last meeting.
Well, what were the scores there?
Paul 4 in Love, and then 2016 they played in Acapulco qualifying.
Yeah, that's ages ago. I mean, neither of these really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta research this a little more. You might be able to convince me to hit Tommy Paul here. Just because like the gap here is so wide. But
I think if there's one bet, I play the under 20.5 because 4-4, you win that.
yeah, and you would think Tommy Paul would want to get off the court quick. Like you would think that would play to his advantage.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna break Albot's serve, right? There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason he
Oh,
shouldn't, right? Like Paul's a good returner, and he's just a solid player in general.
yeah. I think that's the play under because 5, you need, well, 3 and 4. That's a push, right? But
Right. At 5, you
under
need
20,
you need
yeah,
a
under
6-2
20 and a
set.
half, you cash if it's 4 and 4.
Yeah. Yeah, you just lose if it's 5 and 3. That's the only thing you're really scared about at 20 and a
Yeah.
half is like a 5 or a 6 set, just absolutely destroying
But
you. But
otherwise,
yeah.
you struggle holding serve. That's the thing. I think that's the play here. It's either that or a stay away for me. But yeah, I'll do a little more research. All
Yeah, I
right,
gotta see how Tommy Paul plays with against these big spreads. That's the only thing. I mean, yeah, because that's the only.
yeah, now making a semi, like he's going to be a big favorite in some of these matches now. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right, and then Michael Moe and Mackenzie McDonald. Oof. I kind of like Mackie here.
Yeah, three's not a huge spread for
Not a huge spread.
but like I guess I don't know. What I gotta understand is like how does Mackey do against these kinds of players? Because like Mackey's got kind of a weird game.
Mhm.
Um, like he doesn't have that much power, right? But he does hit that flat ball. Like I don't know.
I mean, he definitely has more firepower than Michael Moe.
Nah, I'm kidding. I agree. Yeah, he does. He
Yeah.
does. Um,
And if like a guy like Kovacevic, who has been playing pretty well in the Challenger Tour, took Mo to tight 3-setter. uh, you know,
yeah, it would just be a pure matchup thing, but I feel like 3 is really thin here for Mackey. Like I feel like that's
yeah.
I mean, like when I say really thin, I mean like that feels at first glance it feels low.
Because Shapovalov gave him so many free points, right? He's not going to get those free points against Mackey. Mackey's going
Yeah, I mean,
to
would you be
play.
interested? Yeah, I mean, so here's a couple of. I mean, like Mackey beat up Taro Daniel 2-2 in the first round. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Like Mackey does play like a fair number of lopsided sets.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I like Mackey here and lay the 3.
I think I'm going to do that too.
It's just scary because like it's just scary because it feels so thin, right? Like it feels like it should be at least like 4.5, doesn't it?
I would place the line at 4. That's where I would place it. I
Yeah.
don't really trust Mo yet. Like it's just he's a good mover, he's a good athlete, but he doesn't penetrate the court. He's not really going to do anything that troubles Mackey.
No, well, and that's why it's like we had the MO on MO during qualifying, right? Like it was
Yeah.
bet MO against guys who suck, don't bet him against guys who are good, right? Like
And yeah, he's
and
way
it's obvious why, because like against guys who are outside the top 300, like he's going to destroy them because they can't consistently hit the ball in the court or they would be in the top 300.
right.
Against guys who are in the top 100, like what's he going to do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like he can run around and that's nice, but like at some point you got to be able to like
Yeah, you got to
outfire
do
the guy.
something. You got to yeah, you got to hit the ball. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I agree. I agree. And like I don't think we should even consider the Shapovalov match because Shapo is just like so erratic, and if he makes balls, he's gonna win. If he misses balls, he's gonna lose. And he missed balls.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
that simple, right? Like so
Yeah, I think Mackey lay the 3 here and take Mackey's to play.
I agree. I agree. And I think he's gonna have looks on Mo's serve, like he's gonna break. So yeah, I agree with you there. All right. Let me see if I can find that Fritz Monorino line.
Yeah.
This is probably the match of the of the day in Delray Beach.
Fritz Manarino, yeah. I bet you're gonna get a pretty good line on Fritz, though. I don't think the books have come down on him yet. I think it's gonna be
Wow.
like Fritz minus 3.5.
Wow. Okay, you're gonna be quite surprised by this. So you got it right. Fritz is minus 3.5, but that's at minus 175. So it's probably more like Fritz minus like 4. And the money line is Fritz minus 550, Manarino plus 370.
Is there any reason not to drill Manarino?
I think you should drill Manarino here. I don't trust.
I'm saying, is there any reason not to? Like, why would we not drill Manarino?
Manarino plus 1.5 sets is plus 120. To win a set is plus money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and Manarino's won 2 out of 3 head to head. Granted, 2 of them were ages ago, but last year he beat Fritz 3-3 in Acapulco. To me, this is Manarino all the way.
It is. I don't like what I see from Fritz. Like Fritz was down a break against Gomez. The loss to Wu last week was not good. When 3 sets against Giron, like, you know, he's kind of been one-dimensional, right? We discussed this in the last pod. Like, I don't really.
Yeah, I guess the only question is, do you like Manarino minus the 4? And Manarino gets to a lot of tie breaks. So I guess the only question is, do you prefer Manarino plus the games, or do you prefer him on the money line? Or do you prefer him on the set line?
I like the set line at plus money, to be honest. That's where I'm leaning. And then I might sprinkle half a unit on the money line. That's probably how I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, I just got to think about how I want to play that, but I'm definitely going to play Manarino somehow. I just don't know, and I might play him multiple ways. I might play him on all 3. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm shocked to see that line. Like, that's crazy. Plus 370 money line.
I think the money line's a little insane. I thought if I was setting this, I would still have Fritz the favorite and a sizable favorite, but I think I'd have it like somewhere with a 2 starting out, right?
Maybe.
What?
240. That's where I would put it, maybe. Yeah,
I'll be really interested to see what Bovada's opening line is. I wonder, because that line must be fresh, and I wonder if that's going to get bet down quick.
Oh, it's up now.
Oh, 350. I think you got it. Man, wow, 4 is plus 105. That's got to be a drill for Manarino. Like, I'm going to drill that now.
Hammer
as we speak. Like, you have to, right? Like, how do you not take Manarino there if you're getting 4?
And Manarino had a good win today against Wolf. Right? I think he's picking up his game, you know.
No, he's looked a lot better the past 7 months, but yeah, I mean, you know.
You won a 250 last year in Winston-Salem.
Yeah. That is my bet of the day for tomorrow. I'm drilling that. I mean, hey, obviously it doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but yeah, that's got to be a hit.
And I don't think Fritz has been that impressive. He really hasn't.
No, in fact, I've already put 1 unit on the spread and 1 unit on the money line.
I like it. Tomorrow at 8:00.
Popcorn tennis. Popcorn tennis, baby.
I wonder what your
great, right? Like, how else can we get excited about like Schwartzman Bernabe or like Fritz Manarino? Like I was so pumped up for that Bernabe Schwartzman match today. Like,
yeah,
I was in it all forward all day. I was really hoping it wouldn't go too long. What?
I was pumped up for Munar and Cerundolo. I probably could have drank a whole bottle of wine during that.
Well, you would have had to, because you would have had to make yourself pass out in the second set, because that was awful.
It was so bad, man. That's got to be my worst bet of the week. I mean, that was so bad.
Mine's Verdasco. I don't just
okay.
But maybe it's not mathematically. I don't know. It was a close match, but like,
yeah. All right, I agree with you, man. I'm gonna play this and +4 at plus 105 or the set spread. What's the set spread here in Bovada?
They don't have it up yet. Ew. Oh, they do. No, they don't.
They don't. I like +4 at +105.
But it should be, you should get something around like +120 because the 2-0 Fritz is
Yeah.
-150.
Right.
Right? So you'll get something like +120, +130. You can kind of imply that.
But +350 on the money line, that's amazing. That's amazing. I get it at +370 on win.
Well, I mean, they'd obviously do that, right?
Yeah,
You get better odds.
obviously.
Um,
You gotta go line
I
chopping.
mean, do you have any thoughts on the over under here? I think this is a really low over under too, like 21.5. Like I'm really supposed to see
I'm
a
staying
low.
away here. I prefer to play the Monorino lines.
I'm I think the over here is a great play as well.
Yeah. But you're laying juice.
Well, that's why I'll probably just sit with the better lines, the better odds that are out there. But I actually think if you don't like Manorino, I think the over is an alternate play you could make.
Mm-hmm.
But like honestly, here there's like so many good plays. What is like the Fritz and what are the Fritz and Marino over 12.5 lines?
So Fritz over 12.5 is -150.
Well, I'm interested to see. So they'll eventually hit that up in the next couple of hours. What like the over under for like 10.5 is on Marino? That might be yet another thing to hit,
Well, 9.5 for Manorino is -110.
which is insane, right? Like he's just got to get to 5-5 or 6-4. Like
Yeah. Yeah, this is this is amazing.
I think the best two though are the +4, the plus 375, plus 375.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. All right, let's switch gears to Buenos Aires.
Sure.
All right, let's do that. So we
Any
got
draw talk before we go like Delray Beach? Any before we leave Delray Beach? Any draw talk?
draw talk. Oh, Delray Beach draw talk.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, what do you? I mean, this is really weird. Like, the top half is. So I also have I have a -135 futures to have an unseeded player make the final, which I'm really loving right now. I mean, I just have to fade off Fritz and Paul,
and then you
and
have
I guess Kecmanovic
well,
also.
obviously if Manarino wins, that's good in both ways, right? You get the unseeded
Yeah.
player plus.
The problem is I think I need Manarino to win because I don't think Mo or Mackey can beat Taylor Fritz.
Probably not. And then on the bottom side, you got Giron, obviously, Kecmanovic.
I mean, there I'm hoping for your own. The third bet I have here is I have the bottom half player to beat the top half player at +125 in the final.
I like that. I mean, I think Tommy Paul has the best chance, obviously. Giron is second.
Yeah.
Kecmanovic is third.
But unless Fritz makes the final, like, I guess Manarino's kind of scary too, but like the other two guys there, I mean, if it's Mackey, man, like that should be. It's interesting. I don't know. I think it's
Very interesting. I mean, I like that bet, the unseeded player. I like the Delray Beach play on that bet way more than like the Buenos Aires play, just because you have Alcaraz there.
Yeah, you're probably right.
No?
I just didn't. Yeah.
But
I just saw the bottom half of that Buenos Aires draw, and I was like, given like why is Nori here? Like, other than that, it's just a crapshoot between all those guys.
it is.
But I guess it's time to. I guess we can move over to Buenos Aires now.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to play like a futures parlay because I bet you can get, now that every tournament is like in the quarters, you could probably get futures on all these tournaments now.
You could, yeah, you could.
So, I mean, like, who's your pick to win this tournament in Delray Beach?
Paul.
I'm leaning there too. Paul, then probably Fritz, like if we're not, considering the line on that match.
Yeah, because Fritz is like, I mean, he's the second best. I mean, like, he's just so much better than these other guys, right? Like,
yeah. But then I'd probably go Giron after that. And then I'd probably go Monorino.
Yeah, I think Kecmanovic would be there too. Like, I think Kecmanovic, again, this is a slower hard court, so Kecmanovic isn't a bad play either.
I'd go Giron, Manorino, then Kecmanovic, then Mackey, then Mo, and then Albot.
You really think Mo has a better chance than Albot? Even. They both have 0. 0 equals 0.
I wonder if you could get like 250 to 1 for either of those guys to win the tournament.
No. Wow. No.
I probably
You
still
give me like 1,000. If you give me like 1,000 to 1, I'd probably take one of those two. No, like how's Albach going to beat these next 3 guys?
Yeah, he's not. He's not.
Like 1 maybe, but 3 no.
No. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Buenos Aires. So, the quarterfinals tomorrow. It starts with Echeverry and Nori. Interesting match. Varias and Musetti. Alcaraz and Lajovic. And it ends with Zapata against Cerundolo. Have you seen these lines?
I have not.
You have not. All right. So I guess we can play guess the lines here.
All righty.
All right. So let's start with Echeverry and Nori.
I'm gonna guess this is Nori minus 3.5, but I think it should be way closer to Etch. I think it should be like something like Nori minus 2.5 or Nori minus 2. But I think I think it will be 3.5.
It's 2.5.
Oh wow, okay. So the book is smarter than I think.
Mm-hmm.
So at 2.5, because anytime I say that I think the line should be X, anytime the book and I agree on a line, then I should just stay away, right? Because I'm just laying juice. So
Exactly.
then I think it's probably. I mean, what's the money line?
Nori minus 185, Etch plus 145.
Yeah, I mean that feels like a stay away. I mean, maybe I would bet Etch money line, but Etch hasn't looked that good on the clay.
So both matches that Etch has played has gone over, right? Because they both gone 3 sets. Like he lost the first set and then won.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting play here. What's the over here? The neutral 22.
Yeah. But I could easily see that match going 3 sets. What's the weather in Buenos Aires tomorrow?
Ooh, good call.
Well, we were just talking about that, how we got to put conditions into account more.
Yeah.
So it is windy. Interesting.
Does the wind make us favor
So
either
it's
player?
wind. So it's sunny, and it's like in the
Cold though, 60s, low 60s, cold.
low 60s, but no rain. But they're 25-mile-per-hour winds with gusts. That is very windy.
Yeah.
So Nori actually plays more kind of flatter, right? Is Nori a player? I mean, he has a little more spin on the forehand.
But Nori's not like a power guy.
He's not. So he's going to have a hard time hitting through kind of slow conditions.
Yeah. I don't know. This is tough.
And Nori struggled against Diaz Acosta.
Yeah, that's his first match on clay, right? And it's his first match after Australia.
No, he played Davis Cup. He played the Ecuadorian.
Right, he did. And maybe that's why he stuck around.
Maybe.
You're right.
I like Etch money line here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so he's played three straight 3-setters in a row in here. So maybe what's the over 2.5 sets line? It's probably not great.
Plus 130. It's not great.
Yeah. The problem is with both these guys, you probably need 3 sets. So I don't like the over here. Like if you're gonna play the over, just play the 3 sets and take the plus money. What's Etch to win a set? That's probably gonna be minus money, right? That's probably not gonna be great either.
Minus 190.
If you're gonna play, I think it's Etch money line.
I agree.
And I don't know. I need to see if Nori's ever played how Nori does in South America in general. Playing on these South American clay courts is really weird. He acclimated pretty well in Davis Cup.
Well, I
But
think the fact that we're so on the fence probably tells us it should be a stay away.
yeah, it probably should be.
No.
But I will do a little more research into Nori in South America. But he played pretty well in Davis Cup, so it's probably a stay away.
He didn't play that well. I mean, he won 2 tight sets against Barrientos. Like, it's not like
It wasn't that tight, right? It was like four, wasn't it like 4-2 or 4-3? Or 5-2, 5-3?
wasn't he like down a break in one of the sets though, and then came back?
He was. It wasn't like an easy cruising kind of situation, but
And then he
yes, and I don't know, maybe
I think the only play here is Etch money line. And maybe
yeah, I'll have to do a little more looking at it. If I'll stare at this and think this over. It's either edge money line or it's nothing though.
yeah. All right, Varias and Musetti, what's your guess?
Musetti -4.
It's actually 4.5. Yeah, it's 4 because 4.5 is plus 105, so it's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right on the money.
So this is a clear stay away from me because Musetti's by far the better player. He looks like he wants to be here. But Varias is tough. Varias is a nice forehand. Like, I don't know.
I mean, Musetti has just so much more ability and talent.
Do you want to lay Musetti? Do you want to lay 4.5 or 5 though here to take Musetti?
I would never trust Musetti to cover that because, like, you don't know what mentally.
Because I don't trust Varias to cover 4.5 or 5 either. I think this is a pure stay away. I think this is as pure of a stay away as you get. Also, the crowd's going to back Varias, right? Like if the crowd gets what?
Varias is underpowered in this matchup. Like, he's not gonna. It's all in Musetti's hands. Like, is he playing well?
It is, but his forehands. I mean, Varias is a decent forehand. Backhand is a problem, but forehand's decent.
Musetti's not going to be lobbing balls in the tee like Team did.
He's not going to lob balls in the middle of the court. That's not Musetti's favorite shot. He might. I mean, you never know. It's Musetti, right? He might just say like, "Screw it." No, but in all reality, I think this is a pure stay away to me.
Pure
like
stay away. I agree. Okay, Alcaraz and Jere.
You mean Lajovic? He already beat you.
Yeah, Lajovic. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna guess this is Alcaraz minus again, like your 4.5. Might be 5. Might be higher. It might be like. I'm gonna go Alcaraz -5 is my guess.
You got it right on the money. It's -5.
Man, it sucks. Like, this is a tournament I want to bet, but it's another stay away. Like, you can never trust Lajovic to cover this 5, right? And I wouldn't trust Alcaraz to cover 5 either. So 5's a lot. 5's a big spread. So this is a stay. I mean, unless there's like an over/under or something. What's the over/under? Like 20.5. So that's not going to be good to hit either.
It's 19.5. 20.5 is plus 105.
Nah.
I like over 19.5 at -130.
That's the best play here. If you're going to play it, that's the play. I think.
I don't trust.
I might follow you on that, but that's the only thing that's even a chance. The problem is, again, like, I mean, and now Lajovic is a decent serve. It's not amazing, but it's decent.
Clay is his best surface.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
it's just, it's such a different level. Like playing Alcaraz than playing like Ugo Carabelli. Like it's just the quality is just so much different, like.
Yeah, I mean, if you're betting the over, you're betting on Alcaraz, like, not being at his peak the whole match, right? Like,
yeah. I think that's the play. 19.5 is not that much. You win that at 4-4.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm going to play here, but
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's close. I'll have to think, like, it might be a pure stay away. It's close. Like, if anything, I've learned I should stay away from more stuff. So I'll probably end up staying away. But I'm thinking about the 19.5. It's the only thing I'm. I'm thinking about the 19.5. It's the only thing I'm thinking about.
Well, that's the reason why we're playing this guess the lines game, because like if you get it wrong, then you probably should play,
Right.
one of the guys. Like you were way off on the Monterino line. So
right.
All right, Bernabe and Cerundolo.
I'm gonna guess this is Cerundolo, but it's close. It's probably Cerundolo -2.
It's Cerundolo -3.
Would I consider Bernabe here? And would I consider a Bernabe money line like a +150 or something? Right? I'm guessing it's
Yeah.
I don't think so. Bernabe likes to spin the ball, right? So these conditions aren't good for him. So it might be Cerundolo -3, to be honest, might be the play. But Bernabe's not bad on clay. It's just these conditions, I think, play to Cerundolo.
It's nighttime, it's windy, it's cold. The conditions are super slow.
But that plays in Cerundolo's advantage against Bernabe, right? Not against everybody, but I think against Bernabe it does.
I mean, Bernabe played in the same conditions today.
That was Schwartzman.
Fair enough. I can't believe we're saying this. Like it's
so sad, dude. It's so sad to be saying this, but like
it is.
I mean, yeah.
I actually like the over here too, over 20.5 at -135.
It's laying a lot of juice. I guess would you bump up to 21?
21, yeah,
Why wouldn't you, right? 21's not that common of a score.
-115.
I like that better, or maybe even over 21.5.
That's -110.
Yeah, you're not really getting much there.
Yeah, I'd rather get the push at 21.
Yeah, me too.
Have these guys played? They have not. I mean, Cerundolo, I mean, so did I didn't see it. Did he look really good against Munar?
I didn't see much either. Like I said, I saw a very, very little bit. I think it was more Munar was just not good. But
because that's
you need to see what the stats were from that match. I can look that up real quick.
Yeah. Because I'm curious, if that was good Cerundolo and he's back to his best on clay, like I'm not hitting Bernabe there. But if it was just bad Munar and he was just making a ton of errors, like
stats were they don't have any winner stats here. That's a shame. I don't know if somebody else, the ATP source site doesn't have the stats. I'm not sure if somebody else has it.
Oh, here we go. So Cerundolo had 1 ace. Munar had 2 doubles to 1 for Cerundolo. First serve percentage
94%. That's insane.
Win on first serve 67%. He won 100% of his second serve points.
That's a joke, man.
That is a joke. I mean, I mean, we've said it many times, but this is the biggest stat
in tennis. Yeah, it is.
In men's tennis, the win percentage on second serve. Break points 5 of 12.
Oh no, something's messed up there. Those stats aren't right, or at least they don't agree with the ATP Tour stats.
Oh, they're different on the ATP website, so Google has it wrong?
I think. I mean, ATP Tour is telling me that Cerundolo served at 76% first serve and won 75% of second serve points.
Okay.
That feels more reasonable.
It does. I mean, it looks like he played well. I kind of have to, maybe I'll see a little bit of a replay of that match.
Yeah, I mean, this is a, honestly, I might just stay away from all of this. We're talking so much about it and debating it so hard. Like,
yeah. I might just play overs. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the over on Bernabe. What's the 3 set line? See again, like the 3 set line could be interesting there too. Of Bernabe Cerundolo, if you like that. That's two guys who battle. Like,
It's 3.5 on Bovada. Plus 140.
ooh, that I kind of like.
3 sets. How often does Bernabe play 3 sets against these grinders?
Well, he played 3 against was Baena, right?
Hyena, yep. And he played 3 against Pedro. Played 3 against Barrios Vera. Played 3 against Baena, yeah. And then Cerundolo. The good Cerundolo.
3 against
3 against Hanfman.
3
3
against Del
against
Bonis.
Delbonis.
Literally, the 2 matches this year he hasn't retired before yesterday.
I like the 3 sets at plus money.
Yeah, I think that's the play here. 140 is pretty good.
It is. Okay. All right. All right. All right.
That's what I'll play.
Okay. Fair. I think I like, and then Alcaraz, I like, just thinking about it more, I like over 19.5. I like that. It's just, it's not that much. It's 4 and 4 you win.
Yeah.
And Lajovic is a respectable clay court player. Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think, so do you view Jere as being better than Lajovic right now?
No, I think Lajovic is probably better than Lajovic is probably better than Giri. So then that would tell me I should hit that. So
Okay.
I mean, actually, and also Lajovic has won a set in 13 straight matches, which is kind of a fun stat.
Interesting.
Again, this is a completely different level, right? I mean, the best player he's in that streak is Baez, but
Oh, we got a response from Klaus. Kudos for the Schwartzman fade.
that's like the most positive we've ever gotten from Klaus. Thank you, Klaus.
Thank you, Klaus. We
You get a call out,
it.
buddy. We still love you.
That's great. As we're doing the podcast, I love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Klaus. You got some listening material coming your way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do some draw analysis here. Where is the So you got Alcaraz Lajovic will play the winner of Zapata or Bernabe and Cerundolo. And then Varias Musetti will play the winner of Echeverry Nori.
I mean, away with this on play.
I don't like the unseeded player to win this tournament.
To make the final. Yeah, I don't
make
either.
the final.
Yeah, I don't either. This has gone really poorly for me so far.
I mean, obviously, I like Alcaraz here. This is closer. I probably lean Cerundolo.
Yeah.
Musetti here. And then
The problem is like matchup wise, like actually matchup wise, like because matchup wise, if Alcaraz beats Lajovic, he's not losing either of those. He should not lose to Cerundolo, and he should not lose to. I mean, he shouldn't lose to anybody in this tournament, but he really should not lose to Bernabe or Cerundolo.
the only guy that really could trouble Alcaraz here is Musetti.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think Musetti's got a shot. Like this is not a key. You're right. That the final's not a cakewalk for him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious what you get on Musetti futures here.
It's gonna be plus money.
It's definitely plus money. I know Bet365 has all these futures. What would you hit that at if it was available? Like, what do you expect the line to be? because I think that kind of will dictate whether or not it's worth hitting.
500. Like if it's 500 or better, I'd hit Musetti.
It's exactly plus 500.
So I've got a tough decision to make. It's right on that line. Because I think he shouldn't. I mean, he should beat Fariz. See, I'm not going to. The problem is like it's too much of a risk. He just like mentally isn't like day to day, like mentally, it's too much of a risk. So like there's too much. It's not that I don't believe he could beat Alcaraz. That I don't like.
Yeah, once he gets there, if he gets to the final, he'll be fine mentally. Like he's gonna wake up for that match.
Yeah,
But
it's more I could actually see him losing in the semis or the quarters.
Yeah.
But if it was 6, I'd hit Musetti.
There's no value in Alcaraz minus 200 here.
No,
absolutely none. So, and if we just go right back to Delray Beach, is it not up?
Actually, no chance to win, or they're like,
yeah. I don't see it on Bet365. Bet365 usually has the most tennis lines. But yeah, I mean, I think that the only one that there's value on to bet a futures here is Musetti. Really. Nori is minus 300, but he hasn't shown enough where I think he can go all the way. Like going 7-6 against Diaz Acosta doesn't really like give me confidence. So yeah. All right. Let's switch gears to Rotterdam.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a loaded
this is it's a 500, so it makes sense, right? But these are great matchups, man.
Dimitrov Diminor is the first one. Medvedev, Felix, hell yeah. Sinner, Wawrinka, and then Brouwer and Griekspoor, the two Dutchmen.
In the night match.
Yep. So let's start with Dimitrov Diminor. Have you looked at these lines? Hello? Are you there?